Ladies and gentlemen, if you could please take your seats. We'd like to get our program started this afternoon. Please take your seats, folks. We'd like to get started shortly. Thank you. If I could have your attention, please, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Arizona State University, Sun Devil Athletics, and the Sun Devil Club, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2023 Sun Devil Athletics Hall of Fame Induction Luncheon. My name is Tim Healy. I'm currently in my 36th year broadcasting Arizona State sports. That would be a lot of years, and it's my 26th season as the radio play-by-play voice of Sun Devil football, men's basketball, and baseball, and it is my honor and my pleasure to serve as your MC and welcome all of you to what I say every year and will say again this year is one of my personal favorite annual events on the Arizona State Athletics calendar. The reason being it is that on this weekend every year, to use a technical phrase of our modern day, we kind of push the pause button on the present in order to take time and look back and honor the teams, coaches, and athletes whose great endeavors authored the story of Arizona State Athletics' historic past. The Sun Devil Athletics Hall of Fame, a little info about it, if you will. It's considered, frankly, nationwide to be one of the best college honorariums in the country, both in terms of the quality of the athletes enshrined in the hall and the number and variety of sports that are represented in the hall. The Sun Devil Athletics Hall of Fame was established back in 1975 in order to honor Arizona State University's most distinguished student athletes. The Hall of Distinction came along a few years later in 1982, and that recognizes the outstanding contributions that are made by ASU coaches and athletics administrators. Today, all of us here will witness and celebrate the induction of 5 former individual Sun Devil student athletes, 1 championship team that all will enter the Athletics Hall of Fame, while the head coach of that soon-to-be inducted team will go into the Hall of Distinction. With us today to help celebrate the induction of these student athletes and a team and a former great coach are several Sun Devil greats already enshrined in the Sun Devil Athletics Hall of Fame. And I would now ask any current Sun Devil Athletics Hall of Fame member with us today to please stand and be recognized. And our inductees today will be joining these fine folks in the Halls of Fame and Distinction. To get today's program underway, it is my pleasure to welcome to the podium Arizona State's Vice President for University Athletics. Please welcome Ray Anderson. Ray?
Thank you, Tim, and good afternoon, everyone. Let me reiterate what Tim said, because it is absolutely the truth. This is the best event that we can attend as part of Sun Devil Athletics. And for me and Buffy, my wife, it's real simple. This is just a room of joy. There's nothing but joyfulness from the time you get even close to this place to the time we leave. All the negativity, none of that stuff matters ever when you come into this room for this event. And so for that, for us, it's just a marvelous thing to share, to be a part of. To the honorees, to the inductees, your families, thank you for coming. I know the pride you must feel. It's great when you see grandmas, great-grandchildren. I think I may have seen a few. But to have that collection of just family able to participate and honor and celebrate what your family members has done is a real honor and privilege for us. So joyfulness is the theme of the day. Enjoy yourself and be joyful while you're doing it. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Another reason why I love the Hall of Fame ceremony every year is that the lunch break comes quicker. So folks, if you will now, please enjoy your meals. If you have any special meal requirements, notify your server, and we will begin our program or resume our program and induct the newest members of the Halls of Fame and Distinction in about. Upon his arrival in Tempe from his hometown of Anchorage, Alaska, Jordan Clarke became one of the greatest throwers in Sun Devil track and field history. Clarke won 4 NCAA titles, 3 in the outdoor shot put and 1 in the indoor shot, as well as 5 conference titles in shot put and the weight throw. He was an 8-time All-American, earning first-team All-American honors 6 times. Jordan helped the Sun Devils to 2 NCAA team trophies and collected 3 golds and a bronze in ASU's 2012 and 2013 Mountain Pacific Sports Federation titles. Clarke continued to compete post-collegiately and collected 11 gold medals across 3 years of professional competitions, with 5 of the top 15 marks in the world. Jordan Clarke. In 2 short years at Arizona State, Kentucky transfer Jason Kipnis left his mark on Sun Devil baseball, taking over the starting center field spot from the day he arrived on campus. Kipnis hit .378 in his 2 seasons at ASU, with 30 home runs, 144 RBIs, a .996 fielding percentage, and 51 stolen bases. His .688 career slugging percentage is still the 4th best in school history. Kipnis earned Pac-10 Newcomer of the Year honors in 2008 and was named the Pac-10 Player of the Year in 2009. In addition, Jason was a 2-time All-American while at Arizona State, earning unanimous first-team All-American honors in 2009. An outstanding student, Kipnis earned honorable mention Pac-10 All-Academic recognition in 2009. Cleveland made him a 2nd-round pick in the 2009 Major League Draft, and Jason Kipnis was the Indians' Minor League Player of the Year in 2010. Getting the call up to the big leagues in July of 2011, Kipnis became Cleveland's starting second baseman the following year and was a 2-time All-Star in a distinguished 10-year Major League career. Jason Kipnis. Phoenix Shadow Mountain High School product SHAUN McDONALD was one of the top wide receivers in Sun Devil football history. McDonald's 2002 season was legendary, as he caught a school record 87 passes that year for another school record 1,405 yards, as well as 13 touchdowns, with the 13 touchdown catches representing the 2nd-best single-season total in school history. SHAUN averaged more than 18 yards on his 156 career catches, 24 of which went for touchdowns. In 2001, McDonald averaged over 23 yards on his 47 receptions. For his career, SHAUN had 150 or more receiving yards in a game 7 times. McDonald was a finalist for the 2002 Boletnikoff Award and he is the only Sun Devil to catch 4 touchdown passes in a game twice. He earned first-team All-Pac-10 recognition in both 2001 and 2002. SHAUN McDONALD. Addison McGrath Brown helped rewrite the ASU record book during her outstanding water polo career in Tempe. The California native still holds program records with her 237 career goals and 348 career points, making her the only Sun Devil ever to surpass the 300-point milestone for her career. In addition, Brown also holds the ASU single-season scoring record with 123 points. She is one of 2 Sun Devils to score 80 goals in a season, with 81 in 2008, which was at the time a program record. She ranked second for career assists with 111 and had 66 multi-goal games in her Sun Devil career. Brown was a 3-time All-American selection and a 2-time first-team All-Conference pick as well. An excellent student, Addison was a 3-time selection on the Mountain Pacific Sports Federation All-Academic team. In her junior year, Brown led the Sun Devils to 20 wins for the second time in program history and set a then single-game record with 7 goals against number 4 Hawaii, a record that stood for 14 years. Addison McGrath Brown. Regina MANNIX had a huge impact on the Sun Devil volleyball program, with accomplishments and records that still resonate more than 3 decades after her playing career ended. To this day, she still holds the Arizona State career records with 5,180 assists and 178 aces. MANNIX set individual match records as well. In fact, in a single match in 1987, she recorded an astounding 90 assists, which was not only an ASU record, but also the 3rd highest single match assist total in conference history. Regina also holds the Sun Devil single match record for aces with 9, which she set as a freshman. MANNIX was named a second-team All-American by the American Volleyball Coaches Association in 1986, making her one of just 7 All-Americans in ASU program history. A 3-time All-Conference selection, MANNIX led the Sun Devils to 3 straight NCAA tournament appearances. In 1986, ASU advanced to the second round and finished that season with 27 wins, the 2nd highest win total in program history. Regina MANNIX. On a picture-perfect day in Sacramento, California, the 2007 Arizona State University women's track and field team captured its first outdoor national title and its 2nd national team crown of that year. The Sun Devils accumulated 60 points to beat out runner-up LSU, with 6 Sun Devil women earning All-America accolades. The Sun Devils thus became just the 3rd women's track and field program in NCAA history to win both the indoor and outdoor team national titles in the same year. Additionally, the Sun Devil women had 3 NCAA individual champions in the meet, with Jessica Presley taking the shot put title, Jacqueline Johnson winning the heptathlon, and April Kubishta winning the pole vault. The outdoor crown gave the Arizona State women a clean sweep of all championships for which they competed that year, as ASU won the 2007 Mountain Pacific Sports Federation Indoor Championship, the 2007 NCAA Indoor Championship, the 2007 Pac-10 Championship, the 2007 NCAA West Region Championship, and the 2007 NCAA Outdoor Championship. In addition to all those team titles, Sun Devil student athletes also captured 5 individual national titles in 2007. The 2007 women's track and field team, a 4-time National Coach of the Year and 3-time Pac-12 Coach of the Year, Greg KRAFT took over the Sun Devil track and field programs in 1996 and led ASU to 4 NCAA titles and 12 top 4 finishes at the NCAA championships. At least one Sun Devil won an NCAA individual title in 13 of KRAFT's final 16 years at Arizona State. Overall, KRAFT coached Sun Devil student athletes won 38 national titles, earned 21 Olympic berths, and took home more than 300 All-American honors. In 2008, Coach KRAFT's Sun Devils became just the 3rd program in NCAA history to sweep the men's and women's indoor crowns at the same championship event. In addition, his ASU program was recognized 6 times as the top academic track and field team in the country, with 6 student athletes earning National Scholar Athlete of the Year awards. 6 of KRAFT's student athletes are in the Arizona State Sports Hall of Fame, including Jackie Johnson, Desiree Linden, Aaron Aguayo, Marcus Brunson, Amy Hastings, and Dwight Phillips, with a 7th, thrower Jordan Clarke, entering the Hall of Fame this year. Greg KRAFT.
What an incredible honor this is to be here today. When I started this journey over 20 years ago, I never imagined that track and field would have opened the doors that did for me. I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you. When you see an individual's success, it is never because of their own doings. It takes a team, it takes an army, and it takes a great environment to bring out the best in people. The reason I'm standing here today is because I have a lot of amazing people who I would like to thank and recognize individually. First, I would like to thank all of our athletic trainers and medical staff at the ICA during my time here. My career would have been very different without your help and support with all my injuries I had. To all of our academic advisors and staff in the ICA, you oftentimes go unrecognized, but literally have one of the most impactful positions at our university. Thank you for making such a profound impact on my education. To my teammates, you all know who you are. Team bond and camaraderie is what fosters growth and cultivates the right environment for everyone to push their limits. Thank you for pushing me past mine. To my high school coach, Kyle Lucy. He saw something in me my freshman year of high school that I did not see in myself. Without your guidance and unwavering encouragement, I would never have had the opportunity to take a step to the next level. Thank you so much. To my college and professional coach, David Dumble. Dave, you want to stand up? Anyone that has ever been coached by Dave knows that he has excellent communication skills, an elite technical eye, and is one of the most humble, genuine, and selfless human beings you'll ever meet. The impact that you have had on me in 8 years together goes far beyond the track. You made an immense impact on my professional life. The communication skills that I have, the way I coach and lead others is fundamentally from what you have taught me. Thank you for taking a chance on a small town kind of kid from Alaska and making such an impact on my life. Mom. We've sure been through some really hard times early on, haven't we? You've taught me a lot over the years. But the most impactful thing was showing me what resiliency and real grit really is. You led us from the front and lived your life setting the standard to show my brother and I what that standard has to be to win at life. You made it known that if we want to live a happy and prosperous life, we better bust our tails, never ask for free handouts, take some chances, and never quit no matter how hard things may actually get. You've had every right to quit at life, time and time again, but you never did. You never quit on us, and you never quit on yourself. I love you, Mom, and thank you for being mine. Dad, I'm not sure how the universe fully works, but I am convinced that certain things do happen for the right reasons at the right times. You came into our lives at the most pivotal point. We were broken, and I desperately needed a dad to look up to and to lead me. You introduced me to sports, always practiced with me, no matter how tired you were, and showed me the ropes. Sport was ultimately what saved my life. It built the character, the drive, and the self-esteem that I needed to overcome obstacles from my past, which have translated to my life past sport. As a father myself, the way I love my children and how I choose to raise them is directly influenced by you. The list of things you have done for me far exceeds my time limit today, but the most impactful thing you did was loving me and loving us. You ultimately showed me what a great man and a great father is supposed to be. I love you, Dad, and thank you for being mine. Aunt Debbie and Uncle Mike, thank you for being here today and being with me from the very beginning. You have both literally seen it all. Thank you to my mother and father-in-law for being here today, along with my wife, Kelly, my daughter, baby, Colby, my wild man, who you probably heard crying back there at some point, Callum. Thanks again to the Hall of Fame committee and everybody here. I'm truly honored to be recognized as the next Arizona State Hall of Fame recipient.
Congrats, Jordan. If you folks will indulge me a bit, we are going to go a little bit off script in introducing our next Hall of Fame inductee, who was a two-time All-American baseball player at Arizona State in 2008 and 2009, and was the 2009 Pac-10 Player of the Year. When he played at Arizona State, an Arizona State graduate by the name of Randy Polakar was ASU Baseball's information director. He was my occasional broadcast partner on the radio broadcasts of Sun Devil Baseball, and he was also the public address announcer at Packard Stadium and had a very unique way of introducing this fellow when he came to bat. Randy's with us today, so without further ado, RP, how about a reprise of 2008 and 2009?
Now batting, the center fielder, number 28, Jason Kip. Miss.
I kind of wish I wrote something down like the last guy, but as you heard, it was honorable mention all academic teams, so those probably correlate together a little bit. You also heard I went to Kentucky for 2 years. I was kicked off Kentucky both years, and as I like to tell people, the beautiful butterfly you see before you needed some years in a cocoon to maybe grow up a little bit and mature, and never thought Arizona State was the place to do that, but I knew I had to recruit myself. I had to send emails out trying to transfer anywhere, and the fun story about this is I sent it to Arizona State as a joke. Never for once thought I had a chance to come here. I knew all about their program and the history that has gone on here from, I mean, Pedroia, Barry Bonds, Reggie, all these guys, and you just look up to them. And that email turned into a phone call. The phone call turned into a book scholarship, and the book scholarship, fast forward years later, now into the Hall of Fame. I can't thank enough the second chance that I was given here to turn my life around, to take it serious, the opportunity that I had. And so for that, I thank every single one who I've come across at this campus. Graham Rossini, Armando Flores, Randy, Willie, all these guys, onto Coach Pat Murphy, Tim Esme, Andy Stankiewicz, Josh Holliday, all these guys. I used to think the greatest thing that happened to me was getting kicked off Kentucky with the way my life played out. And it turns out the greatest thing that happened to me was coming here to Arizona State. And throughout all of this, there was a supportive group that I had that, whether I was playing on a side field for softball game or a World Series game at the highest level, I had my family. I had this table you see down here. And the way that they made sacrifices for me, the way that they kind of sheltered me from the world so I can just go concentrate and play the game of baseball. I am forever in your guys' debt. Mom and Dad, I love you both dearly. The sacrifices you two made for me has allowed me to be up on this stage right now. I would not be here without you two. This school changed the trajectory of my life. I will put it that way. Like I said, coming here was probably the greatest thing that I've done. It's given me the confidence to go on into the world. It's given me the maturity to handle opportunities like this. Even I'm still working on coming and graduating right now. I'm taking classes again to come back and finish. I promised my mom I would, so got to. But it's because of the group of people and the manner in which they carried themselves here taught me how to live my life. It allowed me to grow up. And I want to thank the Hall of Fame committee. I never thought I would be here. After only 2 seasons here, I knew the opportunity I had, so I really gripped on tight and took advantage of it. But I am a Sun Devil at heart, and I always will be, and I just want to say thank you again.
Our next inductee is, very simply put, one of the greatest receivers in Arizona State football history and the most prolific single-season pass catcher in Sun Devil football history. Please welcome SHAUN McDONALD.
Hello, everybody. I planned on writing a beautiful speech, but my life got in the way, which mainly my 1-year-old, she wouldn't let me do any kind of work. But I got up this morning, put on my highlight film to give me some inspiration. I wrote a script, printed it out, and left it on my printer. So you guys are gonna get a little kind of a slimmed down version of it, but I'm mainly going to be thanking people here. I'm going to start with the event committee that put the event together and did everything to set everything up for the families and all the inductees. Yeah, can we get a round of applause for them? I've been working in this kind of atmosphere for the last few years, so I know the work that goes behind putting on an event like this, and the magnitude of how many people are here is amazing. I was expecting maybe half of the people that were here, so shout out to the committee. I want to give a shout out to the ASU Hall of Fame committee for putting me along with some of the guys' names, Terrell Suggs, Adam Archuleta, Pat Tillman, some of these names, so my name will be there forever with these guys. And my son, who I brought to the field today to meet the team, he'll be able to show his kids that. So I'm very thankful for that. It's a great honor. I want to go to my parents next. My mom and my dad sitting over here, Verona and Brad. When I think about my mom, I think about her driving me to all my sports. I was always in sports, soccer, football, track, always. So I'm glad she was taking me there and just keeping me active and keeping me in sports, because it obviously worked out for the best. And I'm trying to instill those into my kids and try to take them and keep them active as well. I want to give a thank you to my dad, who, when I think back to along this time when I was, building confidence and thinking if I belonged, because I was a soccer player. I just came to play football. I didn't want to leave the state. I wanted to be a Sun Devil. We didn't have a soccer team, and so I chose football. My brother was here, so I followed in his footsteps, and it worked out. But I remember just having conversations with my dad, and he just telling me, you could be this, you could be that, you could these guys that I looked up to while I was a younger guy playing. And I didn't see it at that time, but he always saw it in me, and it came to fruition. I'm just glad he was in my ear and just kept pumping that into me and building that confidence in me. I would like to thank my brother, who was, like I said, I wasn't a football player, but I watched his highlight film and his game tape. My mom used to film us all playing, so I used to watch his film all growing up, every day pretty much, as she was edited and doing everything. So I feel like I learned how to play the position of wide receiver and play football from him, and I'm glad I got to get a year in here with him before he got out of here. And it was just a great time. I'm glad. When I think about me playing football and I'm out there playing, I feel like when the ball was coming, I would envision what he would do, and I would do the same thing to make a catch and everything. I still say he got the best hands in the family, which as a receiver, that's tough to say. You don't ever want to say anyone has better hands than you. So that's a great honor, Tarek. I appreciate everything you did. I want to give a shout out to my wife, she just left. She's back there with my daughter. I met her at ASU. We met here in a classroom around my sophomore, junior year, and it was a time where I needed to take academics seriously, and she definitely helped me in that, and she corrected me, taught me how to study, taught me a lot of things to get me through, and eventually when I left early and I came back, and she helped me complete my degree, and I won an award for the NFL for continuing education, all from her help, so thank you for that. And anyone that knows me and knows my family, we're a pretty big family. We always roll deep, so I just want to say thank you to my whole extended family because they're always in my corner. We'll be about 60, 70 deep at the game tomorrow, so we always roll, and I just want to say thank you always for the support, and thank you for supporting my kids now as they're growing up. I got some teammates. Let me finish with some teammates. Let me start with R.J. Oliver. This was a DB that we competed every day, in and out. We respected each other. He was our weight room guy, so he was always a guy always chasing, always trying to. He was kind of like my Kobe guy. Like, Kobe always had someone that drove him. He was kind of the guy that drove me because he was just a beast in the weight room, and I was always trying to catch him. And also he kept my name alive kind of in the stadium, trying to pushing them to put me in the Hall of Fame. So I appreciate that, and thank you for that. And we're fantasy football competitors now, so we'll be competing probably till we're 105 years old. I want to thank Jeff Cron's in the building, my favorite quarterback all time. We went to elementary school. We went to high school for a few years. He left. I was supposed to leave with him, but I didn't leave. Sorry about that. We ended up at ASU. We ended up on the scout team together as freshmen, redshirt freshmen, and we would just tear the teams up. The first team defense hated us. We would make a lot of noise. Then we finally got a chance. He got a starting job, and I got a starting job at receiver, and 2001, we just took off and put a lot of good film out there. And I'm glad that we're still friends and we're still going to rock forever, man. Thank you. I got Rich Williams in there, Money Man Rich, number 7. You probably remember him. He was in there scoring touchdowns. But one thing I remember about Rich, we were in the meeting room one time, and I just said it as a joke, but I wasn't playing at this time. I was a freshman, maybe redshirt. I think I was a freshman, but not really playing much. And, they said his stats, and I went in his ear just joking like, hey, I'm going to beat all those stats. And he turned to me, he's like, hey, man, I know that. And it kind of shook me off because I said it as a joke, hoping he would kind of get back at me like, nah. But he came after me kind of like just showing the support, like, yeah, man, I can see it in you. You're going to be that guy. And that did a lot for me. I never told you that, Rich, but that did a lot for me. Thank you. We'll be friends forever. D-Light, my boy D-Light. He shows me more love than anybody, probably. So, Instagram posts, Facebook posts, I can wake up and it'll be a him ranting talking about how great Shaun McDonald was and that he's glad that I was his teammate, and I just love the love, and thank you all. Now I want to thank ASU, thank everybody, and that's all I got. Thank you.
Hey, props to Shaun. What's one of the qualities a good receiver has to have? The ability to adjust his routes, right? Left his acceptance speech script in the printer, no problem. Put it on the phone and nailed it. Way to go, Shaun. Awesome stuff. Our next Hall of Famer is Arizona State's all-time leading scorer in the sport of women's water polo. Please welcome Addison McGrath Brown.
Whoa. Yeesh. Okay. Ooh. Well, I'm overwhelmed. I practiced this speech with my grandpa last week. He's 99 years old. over there. He told me he was both good and original, but the parts that he said were good weren't original, and the parts that were original he said weren't good. Don't worry, I'll do better. So throughout my time here at Arizona State, I had countless blessings. And I'm not talking about goals or wins or trophies. I'm talking about life skills, insights, things you need to be successful. I'll give you a few examples. You may not believe me when I tell you that this Hall of Fame All-American was the slowest swimmer freshman year. Didn't take long. Coach Todd Clapper, give us a wave. He realized that I wasn't just out of shape, I was just slow. So he says, Addison, you need to come into my office. And oh my God, I'm still nervous thinking about that. And you wouldn't believe the conversation he had with me. I thought I was getting punished. I didn't know what was gonna happen. But he said, Addison, when you step out of the locker room and you make your way to the pool, that like little gap between getting ready for training, your face and your body, you look miserable. And I said, well, I am. I'm slow. I hate swimming. It's boring. I just want to play. I don't want to do all this tedious stuff. He goes, okay, all right, I get that. I want you to try something for me. Smile. Come out of the locker room, smile, hum your favorite song, joke around with your teammates. I don't care what you do, just look happy. So I did. I came out and not every day was easy, so he'd send me some reminders, fake it till you make it, and you guys wouldn't believe what happened. I got fast, like really fast, probably the fastest on the team, and you probably figured it out by now, but what Coach Clapper taught me that day was the power and the importance of a positive attitude. It's that easy. Now, too bad he can't be with me every day to give me those reminders, but it was a really big part of my life, and I think probably all of our lives. But I learned so much more here. Believe it or not, I used to do something in the weight room called sandbagging. It's where you don't give 100% effort, you save your energy. Many coaches and athletes know, especially in this day and age, how critical strength training is for athletic performance. So my strength trainer at the time, Christina, she pulled me aside and she said, Addison, you're a lot stronger than what I'm seeing. I'm gonna ask you tomorrow to give me 10 minutes. Not the whole session, 10 minutes. I want 10 minutes of 100% effort. So I did. Sure enough, I'm really strong. So the next day, she asked for 15. And that 10 minutes rolled into the whole session. It rolled into the classroom. It rolled into the pool. It rolled into my whole life. 10 minutes at a time, I was able to develop the stamina to give 100% effort in all areas of my life. So thanks, Christina. For me, being a Sun Devil was more than just athletics. It was this huge stepping stone into propelling my future. So my athletic career ended literally the day I ended college. Not because I didn't have the opportunity, but because I was ready to take everything I'd learned from all the great coaches and teammates and administration. Now I have 4 amazing sons, 3 of them are over there. My husband and I own a beautiful car dealership. I've owned many businesses, grocery stores, commercial real estate, hot rod shop, consulting company. I have so many side hustles. I'm a single-digit handicap, and I'm not telling you all this to brag. My point is this. This slow swimming, sandbagging, water polo player came out of this school, ASU, came out of Sun Devil, ready to take on anyone and anything because the Sun Devil family built me up and made me believe in myself. So thank you. And of course, And of course, thank you to my mom for setting the bar so insanely high. She led by example, and she had very high expectations of me, and that really showed how much she believed. Thank you to my dad, the proudest dad. Making him smile, making him proud are some of my favorite life memories. To my family, my Aunt Barb, for taking me to practices when my mom couldn't and making it work, and my whole family for always supporting me. My teammates, thanks for putting up with me, pushing you every day and grinding you to get better and win as a team. To my practice squad, we had an amazing practice squad that came in to work, and what a selfless job because they didn't get to play. My professors, administrators, and of course, coaching staff. So if you all would with me, Devils on 3. 1, 2, 3, Devils!
Congrats, Addison. Next, we meet one of only 7 All-Americans in the history of the Sun Devil women's volleyball program and the newest member of the ASU Athletics Hall of Fame, Regina Stahl MANNIX. Regina?
Okay. I'm going to cry. I apologize. My crew here keeps telling me it's okay, take deep breaths, you're fine, but I'm going to cry. First, I would like to congratulate all of my fellow inductees, and I would like to thank the Hall of Fame committee, and then also my current athletic director at Scottsdale Community College, Mike McNally. My speech is going to be very different today because my experience at ASU did more than make me a great athlete. It made a complete person from a broken person. I have several great volleyball stories that I could share. One, and I have my coach here, Debbie Brown, who's amazing, and your name's in here a lot, I'm really sorry. She's not gonna like that. We beat Nebraska at Nebraska with a shit ton of red. I have never seen, it's disgusting how much red shows up, but we beat them in their own tournament and it was fantastic. We beat a #1 Stanford here at school on Debbie's birthday, and that was fantastic. I guess we hate the color red. So those are great and they're wonderful, but my point tonight is that Debbie, I believe, kept me from being a really sad statistic. I grew up in a chaotic home. It was full of addiction, mental illness, and violence. I had an ex-boyfriend that was stalking me and beating me, and on 2 occasions held a butcher knife to my neck. I never asked for help. I didn't want to add any more stress to my house. I was a national champion BMX racer with sponsors. I was CAF Player of the Year in California for volleyball, and I was a Christmas queen, and I didn't ask anybody for help. I was not a complete person, and growing up in that chaos left a lot of scars. As I began to be recruited, and I was in Southern California, there were a lot of opportunities there, and all the coaches sounded the same. The only difference was the distance from the beach. The moment Debbie started recruiting me, I knew she was different. She stood out. She was sincere, she was joyful, and she was honest. I know none of you probably know Debbie, except for a couple of people over here on this table, but she is a badass athlete in the world and was the most humble person you'll ever meet. If you met her right now, you'd have no idea how dominant she was as an athlete. I put my trust in Debbie, and she changed my life. Debbie cared her players as people first, and players second. Her temperament was calm and consistent, and that was healing for me. I began to feel optimistic, and I was thriving at ASU. Life was good. Actually, life was great. I was excited to drive my convertible Bug back across that desert for my first Christmas home. I wanted to share all the wonderful things that I experienced, and I'd planned to stay for the 4 weeks. I lasted 10 days. There was a late night of drinking and screaming in my house. I locked myself in my room, and I stood behind my door as things were being thrown at it, and a family member was banging on it so hard it was bowing. I started hearing something hit my door over and over again, something soft. It took a few hours, but pretty soon it got quiet and everyone was asleep. I opened my door. I stepped over a pile of homecoming and prom dresses that were now laying there. It was December 1984, 2:30 in the morning, and I realized I would never live in California again. I got into that Bug and I drove back across the desert, and I knew that moment that ASU was my new home. I was safe at ASU. Debbie created a space that was fun. It was light. It was a place to grow. There was a lot of hard work. Do you remember the concrete football steps, that stadium? We had to run those things. They sucked. It was hard. Track people, we had to run on your track. It sucked. I don't know how. What do you think about when you're running? I think about how much it sucks. And I don't want to do it. I have a nephew that runs all the time. I ask him, what the hell do you think about? So we did that. It was hard, but it was awesome. I tricked the system. I realized if I slowed my academic progress, I could get summer school paid for, and I could get housing paid for, and I could stay here. So Debbie, sorry, some of those grades were on purpose. That summer school scholarship kept me safe in Arizona. I graduated from ASU a complete person, not just an athlete. And I've been the head coach at Scottsdale Community College for 30 years. We've had a lot of success. I get asked often, why do I coach? And I answer it the same way every time. I feel compelled to give back, at least some of what I was given. Debbie Brown saved me, and she taught me to thrive. And I hope I've been able to do that for some of my athletes. I have an amazing life now. It's full of love and laughs, and I have great friends that are here, a great family that's here. And I married a man who's sitting right here. Brian, he hates when I use pronouns when I talk to him. Him, he, it's Brian. So, Brian is incredible. He's a hands-on dad to our daughters, Riley and McKenna, who are sitting here. The broken girl who stood in the den with a butcher knife to her neck, begging for her ex to just end it because she was just tired of it, doesn't end up with a man like Brian. Because broken people find other broken people, and addicts find other addicts. Debbie has no idea that I credit her for breaking the cycle of abuse in my family and for putting me on the path, for giving me absolutely everything. I have family and friends, like I said, they're all here for me today, and they are awesome. It's absolutely everything. Riley and McKenna, my daughters, grew up in a house full of fun and love and no violence. Both of them have met and are engaged to wonderful young men, Josh and Jaden. I know that they're on a path to success for themselves. There's no violence in any of our homes. ASU and Debbie Brown did that for all of us. Thank you. Go Devils.
Congratulations, Regina. Now it is time to meet the members of the 2007 NCAA Indoor and Outdoor Champion, Sun Devil women's track and field team, which is being inducted as a team this afternoon into the ASU Athletics Hall of Fame. As we call the women to the stage, we'd ask, if you can, that you please hold your applause until all have been introduced. As we ask you to please welcome Ty Battle, Brooke Bennett, Whitney Blue Rowe, Roshonda Brown, Jocelyn Burris, Chelsea Kaloya, Lisa Catanese, Jenny Cohen, Amy Craig, Chantel Cunningham, Bridget Davis, Jordan Durham, Stephanie Garnett, Carly Geitler Rising, Carrie Hart Clifford, Serena Harmon, Becky Holly, Jasmine Hyder, Jackie Johnson Powell, Corey Kelly, Allison Kilty, Jenna Kingma, Samantha Kenobi, Whitney Lemieux, Demetra Macedon, Jesse McLaughlin, Angie Malloy, Lisa Navarro, Latoya Olasoji, Jessica Presley, Anna Rasmussen, April Kubishta Rainey, Lisa Regetz, Marjorie Rimma, Ren Roberts, Cassandra Shireman, Jen Shraven, Sarah Shislak, Angela Sims, Sarah Stevens Walker, Crystal Strong, Alicia Wade, Kata Walker, Latasha Wallace, Alana Waterford Fields, and Kiki Wolf. And now the coaching and support staff, Ron Barella, Andrea Detrani, Dave Dumble, head coach Greg KRAFT, Dion Miller, Frank Perez, Louis Quintana, and Alex Ryan. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2007 Sun Devil women's track and field team. Now, 4 members of the team drew the short straw, and they have to come up here and answer a question from me. So please step forward, April Kubishta Rainey, Jackie Johnson Powell, Sarah Stevens Walker, and Ty Battle. And we have 2 microphones for you to share. All right, here we go. Ty, you get the first question. At what point did you and your teammates realize that this was a special team, that this team was capable of doing what you did?
I'm probably the worst person to ask this particular question.
Oops.
Because I actually joined the track team in 2007, so I'll let you do your thing. Awesome. But I did come on my official visit in 2006, and I met a lot of these ladies on that official visit. So Dave Dumble, I literally met him the summer before, maybe, and had a situation where I had to leave Ohio State, where they changed their program, and Arizona State was it for me. And I remember talking to Coach KRAFT in his office, and he had said, it was the first time I had ever heard you say that champions wear gold. And I was like, all right, go ahead, Coach KRAFT. But in that instance, on that visit, I knew that this was just a special group. I mean, look at these ladies. I mean, dang, y'all. Beautiful athletes, just great personalities, and just that Sun Devil family feel was apparent from day one. So I didn't know we was gonna do what we was gonna do, but we did it. So, but yes, absolutely, congratulations. And I am so honored to be inducted into this hall with y'all, because otherwise man, it just wouldn't feel right.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
All right, she's going to pass the mic to Jackie Johnson-Powell, a 7-time NCAA champion. In the heptathlon and pentathlon, and spoilers alert, Jackie's got a little bit of a broadcaster's laryngitis thing going, but she's going to tough it out, trooper that she is, because I just wanted to ask her one question. I'm really curious to know as well. I'm just wondering, Jackie, how does this team honor for you compare with some of the recent individual honors? Jackie recently herself was inducted into the Sun Devil Athletics Hall of Fame. She entered the Pac-12 Hall of Honor this past March at the Pac-12 basketball tournament in Las Vegas. And recently, I think about a year ago, she was a charter inductee in the U.S. Track and Field Cross Country Coaches Association Collegiate Athlete Hall of Fame. See, the reason I read all that is so she wouldn't have to use her voice very much. That's called being a good teammate. But how does this compare, Jackie?
Well, Tim, I want to piggyback off of something you just said. You didn't know what we were going to do, but I'm going to tell you right here that Coach KRAFT knew my sophomore year that we were going to do what we just did in 2007 and 2008. So we didn't know. I didn't believe him, but he literally told me my sophomore year, hey, your junior and senior year, we're going to win the national championship.
Wow.
But I will try to make this short and sweet because of my voice, but this doesn't compare. I can't compare any of them because they're all so special, and I've been honored on every single one of them. And you already went down memory lane. I mean, 2018, my first one, I mean, Cloud 9, I made it. I made the Hall of Fame. There's no more after that, right? I got a phone call from USA Track and Field, Collegiate Athlete Hall of Fame, and they're wanting to induct me with an inaugural class with legends. I mean, Carl Lewis, Jesse Owens, my idol, Jackie Joyner-Kersee, you know, so I mean, okay, it doesn't get better than this. And then now I get a phone call from the Pac-12 saying, hey, we want to induct you with an all-women's class. And I was inducted with women, not just women, it was women who paved the path for us to compete and to go out there and win national championships. They were the women who set the bar. They were the women who went out there first. They were the women who took a lot of heat for us to do what we did in 2007 and 2008. We won't forget that year either. And then now I'm being inducted with these beautiful ladies, these amazing women. They're very talented. And I know we're celebrating 2007, but let me just reiterate, we won 3 back-to-back titles, and kid you not, the 4th one was second place, and yes, it's second place, but I mean, so I'm being inducted with, if you ask me, and in my opinion, I'm being inducted with the best all-time collegiate track and field cross-country team ever out there. So does it get better than this? I don't know. I don't think so. So I stand before every one of you guys just as honored, just as humbled, and just as flattered as I was from number 1, number 2, number 3. So thank you.
It sounds to me like this team should be in the U.S. Track and Field Cross Country
Yes,
Coach
they should.
Hall of Fame,
Yes,
right?
they should.
Well, Jackie, all the best to you.
Oregon,
And by
here
the
we
way, if that's laryngitis, come on, you sounded great. You should have heard me in Game 2 of our Stanford baseball series in May. That was big league laryngitis. I couldn't even broadcast the next day. Well done, my dear. Can you pass the microphone down, please? As April's going to visit with us now, and Jackie referenced this earlier, but what a group of coaches. Heck, the head coach of this group, Greg KRAFT, is going to be our next inductee into the Hall of Distinction, and the great group of assistant coaches, talk about them and all that they did and the role they played in this team being up on the stage right now.
So I have my phone with me because I don't want to miss an important point. But there's actually a lot of reasons why Coach KRAFT is in this position that he's in. And I'll highlight just a few of them that I was able to see as an athlete, but no, there's much more. And I'm sure more behind the scenes than what I could have seen. But our team, he ran it like a business. He he knew what's going to work and what's not going to work, and the things that aren't working, we're cutting it out. The coaches were essentially like managers for him, that they were the eyes and ears of the team, reporting back to him on a regular basis. He was there not to be your friend, but to get you to the goal that we needed to get to. And that commanded a lot of respect, I think, from each and every one of us, the way that he ran it, because without doing that, we wouldn't have been national champions. Track and field, it's a really easy sport to be an individual sport. And Coach KRAFT had a way of pulling us all together. It's easy for the throwers to be off, in a different location than everybody else and just throwing and worrying about their own business. To a degree, yes, they need to do that, but they're also coming over and seeing the distance runners going. He had a way of being able to pull the entire team together, so there was never just an individual, there was us. We were cheering each other on. I can remember the national championships. Amy Hastings, like she's finished her 10,000 meter run. She could go and just go hide out in the hotel or whatever she wanted to do, but instead she was over looking at the pole vault, seeing like, what's going on over there? I wanted to be cheering on my teammates. After meets, we would have team meetings, and Coach KRAFT, he'd call us all out. I mean, he did. He would say, the throwers did really great this weekend, and, pole vaulters, I don't know what happened, but we got to figure it out, But it made it where the burden was on all of us. Like I could feel it for when another athlete wasn't performing the way they needed to, and we all felt that burden of being able to help each other out and get to that goal that we wanted to get to. There were many days when Coach KRAFT, he was done with his athletes. He could have gone home, but instead he'd be watching the distance runners. He'd be watching the throwers, the sprinters, like the events that he wasn't personally coaching, but he was there seeing like, what's going on in this event? I want to know my whole team. Regarding the coaching staff, each coach, I really believe, had the technical knowledge to get us to that elite level. But they also had more than that too. I didn't have firsthand experience with all the coaches. I can speak specifically for Ron Barilla, my pole vault coach, but I do think that probably everybody here would agree with me that their coach was more than just a coach. Their coach was like a father, a mentor. We had a very personal relationship. We saw our coaches more than we saw our families, and the coaches saw us more than they saw their own kids. And so having that kind of mentorship, that personal level to it as well, I'm really grateful for. And my coach is I still see him as my own father. But they knew their athletes. They knew their athletes extremely well. They could get them through that mental game that it takes. You do need to know the technical game. You do need to have those physical skills in place, but you also need to have the mental game in place. And with that kind of relationship with each of our coaches, they knew how to talk to us and how to cheer us on and to say, you can get this done. They believed in us, and we wanted to make it happen too.
Well said, April. Thank you. And our fourth interviewee is Sarah Stevens-Walker. Sarah was a NCAA discus and shot put champion during her time at Arizona State. In your opinion, what has made this program so phenomenal with throwers? I mean, Arizona State has produced thrower after thrower right now into Deion Miller's era, starting with Coach KRAFT's era. Tell us about that, Sarah.
There's a rich history in the throws events at Arizona State, and you can fact check me. I think it's accurate. It's maybe one off, but since 2007 Indoor National Championships, I won a shot put title. And since then, to present day, there has only been 2 national championships, indoor or outdoor, that a thrower has not won.
Wow.
An event, a singular event. I think the thing about the throwing events is that It offers a wide range of opportunity for different type of athletes. The cool part is Arizona State produced shot putters and discus throwers and weight throwers and hammer throwers and javelin throwers, and we were a complete team. The throwing events were a little bit odd. April said, like, the throwers are kind of off doing their thing sometimes. And we accepted that challenge to be a little bit odd and do what we did every single day. But there was a culture of excellence. I chose Arizona State because I wanted to be the best. And I believed that Arizona State wanted to be the best. I believed that what Coach KRAFT told me on my recruiting visit and what Don Bakke told me on my recruiting visit and what Dave Dumble told me every single conversation I had during the recruiting process was that Arizona State wanted to be the best. And they wanted athletes that wanted to be the best. And so a lot of us stepped into positions on the team that we were the best where we came from, but we weren't always the best on our team. I specifically had a teammate in Jessica Presley that if I didn't win Pac-10s, she was winning Pac-10s. And if I didn't show up to throw far, she showed up to throw far. And so I think that's what made this special, was that any one of us could have had a bad day, but every single one of us expected to have our best day every single day. And we knew the impact that it had on our program when we didn't have our best day. And we had a culture of success. We had a culture of winning. We had a culture of being the best. The second place trophy, all of us kind of looked at it like, do we really have to go take that picture right now? Right? Because we wanted to be the best, and we were the champions. And for 3 seasons, we got to be the champions. And so accepting a second place trophy for us, that didn't exude success for us, and we weren't the best that we could be. So it's a special group. There's a lot of people up here that did a lot of really incredible things as individuals, but collectively as a whole group, we stepped out and we were better than everyone for a really long time.
Yep. Well, it seems like what Greg told you and what Dave told you and what Don told you on your recruiting trip, that you were going to be the best. You're up on this stage today. You were the best. And you're now all in the ASU Sun Devil Athletics Hall of Fame. Congratulations, ladies. Well deserved. And it is appropriate, I guess, on a whole bunch of levels that our final inductee today is the man who is the head coach of this 2007 Sun Devil women's track and field team, a 4-time national and 3-time Pac-10 Coach of the Year. He is now the newest member of the ASU Hall of Distinction. Please welcome head coach Greg KRAFT.
Well, I don't think there's really a lot to say after those ladies gave their viewpoint of our track and field program. But there's a lot of things that I'd want to say, but I don't need to say now. But I do want to congratulate all the inductees. I think you had a chance to meet Jordan Clark, and as big a guy as he is, he was probably the biggest supporter of the entire team, and I think he embodied what the ladies talked about. He could go over to the distance runners and the sprinters and cross-country kids and really have a big impact on our team. I do want to give a special shout out to SHAUN McDONALD. He ran for us in the 4x1 and the 100 meters at the Pac-10 championships at Cal Berkeley. And actually, Addison McGrath was a javelin thrower for us. Not to embarrass her, but she was dating a guy on the team, and she could really wing that thing, whatever it was, a water polo ball or javelin. And I think she's still 8th all time on the Arizona State list in the javelin throw. So congratulations to them and to all our inductees. You know, for me, when I came to Arizona State, it started in the spring of '96. We were at the NCAA championships. I was having a team that was in the top 10 at the Nationals, the University of South Carolina, and I was contacted by Kevin White at the championship to talk about Arizona State's opening. And Kevin White was real convincing in his approach talking to me, but there was a caveat that he had to address. At that time, Arizona State was facing their 3rd major infraction in track and field, so whoever accepted the job was going to be banned from the Pac-10 championships. They were going to be banned from the NCAA championships. Our scholarships were going to be cut. We couldn't go off campus and recruit, and we were limited into our aid. And so, strangely enough, for me, my goal growing up in California is I didn't want to be a head coach in the SEC. I wanted to be a head coach in the Pac-10. And in my age, I graduated the time that Arizona State had won the 1977 national championship. And so I felt strongly that if we could weather that storm, that we would again rise from the ashes and be successful at a national level. So Kevin White and the Pac-10 were the reasons that I came to ASU. The student athletes that you met really embodied everything that I talked to Kevin about. I said, in order for us to be successful, every student athlete in your program's got to be relevant to the process. We won't win unless every student athlete feels that they have a vested interest in our program. The sprinters, the jumpers, the throwers, the decathletes, the jumpers, cross-country runners, they really needed to understand their role. Fortunately for me, my first staff, I hired Darrell Anderson, and he immediately reinvigorated our men's sprint team. And then I hired Walt Drenth to be our cross-country coach. And not only did he make Arizona State cross-country relevant, he made them a national player. And then we had one more person on that first staff, Jason Dunn, who was a graduate assistant. But those guys really laid the foundation for the success that we would inevitably have. Two of the cornerstones after that, we added a third full-time coaching job, and it went to Dave Dumble's sister, Dawn. In her own right, a great thrower, national champion at UCLA. And unfortunately, in coaching, a lot of times the rigors of the coaching life are too much, and she is a well-rounded person and just a great human being, and wanted to start a family and didn't feel like she could coach. And so I asked her, who should I hire to replace you? She goes, my little brother. And so at the next national championship, when she was saying that, Coach Dumble, Dave Dumble, would just be kind of lurking in the shadows going, I'm here, I'm here. And so those two guys really changed the whole complexion of our program. But those were the guys that really laid the foundation for our program, and I can't thank them enough. I think you can hear the pride that the women talk about of being a complete program. I think last year ASU in the Directors Cup scored 665 points. And if you don't know how the Directors Cup works, that's how they evaluate your athletic program. And you get 100 points for winning a national championship. Okay, the year after this great team that we had was probably the high water mark, not probably, it was the high water mark for Arizona State athletics. We finished 4th in the Directors Cup. And I talked to our team all the time, that was our role to drive us to that. And believe it or not, our men and women that year for the Directors Cup, we scored 465.5 points. You get 100 points for a national championship. Those men and women scored 465.5 points. And the women were the drivers to that. Sarah and Jess were winning national titles before Ryan Whiting. Those guys learned to compete by watching our women just go in there and take no prisoners. The women every day came to practice trying to be better, trying to be their best, and they never let an opportunity slip. And so our men really learned from them. And I can't thank them enough, but they understood that task and they really embraced it. So I can't sing the praises of that group of student athletes any more than that. But as I said, I came here because of Kevin White and the Pac-10, but I really stayed because of all the relationships that we built at ASU. My first supervisor was Kevin White because of the NCAA sanctions, but once that was over, he passed the baton on to Don Bakke, who became my supervisor. And Don and I, our paths crossed earlier. We both were coaches in the early 80s at Kansas State. And we agreed if you're coaching at Kansas State, you know how to drive a van and you know how to work. And so that was a great common ground for us. But Don is very passionate about all student athletes, and sometimes we would have some lively conversations. And we always agreed that it didn't matter who was right, it only mattered what was right. And so with our philosophy, we really were joined at the hip and really experienced some incredible highs and really developed a wonderful relationship. So I can't thank him enough for his impact on our program. Additionally, you know, as Shaun McDonald said, there's so many people behind the scenes that make a difference. And for me, there's quite a few. Uniquely, Ron Barilla, it was a volunteer coach for us. I think this is his 20th year volunteering in that program. And he has a unique distinction. He was on the team that won the 1977 national championship. He coached April Kabishta to the national championship, and he was on our staff for 4 national championships. So we're looking forward for Ryan Whiting to duplicate that. So, but that's the shoes that he needs to fill from Coach Barilla. But so many people make your life easier, and I just want to mention 3 in particular. Susanna Tamil worked forever in the compliance office, and she was a rock for me to go to and get pertinent information that was always accurate and timely. Amy Schramm was in the business office. The head of the business office only knew one word, and it was no. And Amy was early in her career, and she helped me stretch 10 cents into $1, so I thank her for her ability to negotiate with me. My neighbor down at the track, Sheila McInerney, and I think most of you know who Sheila is. We couldn't have a bigger beacon for Sun Devil athletics than Sheila McInerney, and I always liked going over and talking to her at the tennis complex when we had a little downtime at the track, because she was a wonderful resource. And then finally, I do want to mention Ray Anderson. I don't think I've had a lot of ADs during my 23 years coaching here, and he was the first one that kind of looked at me sideways. And it was, we were touring the facilities when he first came here, and he asked me, he goes, well, where's your locker room? And I said, well, we don't have one. All those ladies competed in men. We never had a locker room. And he looked at me and he goes, with disgust, he shakes his head. He goes, I'm going to fix that. And he signed an Adidas deal, and he got a little pot of money, and before you know it, our student athletes, for the first time in my career, had a home. They had their own locker room. And Ray's been supportive of all Olympic sports, and that's very unusual in this day and age. And so I want to thank Ray for his support of our athletics. Additionally, I do want to introduce my table. My brother John and his wife Mari. They were here in July of '96 when I was introduced as the track coach at ASU, and it's only fitting they're here when I'm getting my last little bit of ASU out of the system. So thank you for coming. My wife Maggie, we met in college and we started dating in 1977. We've been together ever since, and this is the only place that she recognized that we moved to as a wife of a coach, whether it be Terre Haute, Indiana, Manhattan, Kansas, and all the stops in between. And so that was one of the reasons that we ended up staying. My 2 sons are here. They're Sun Devils through and through. Kyle graduated in civil engineering and his master's in environmental, and he's a project manager for Phoenix Water. My son Corey pole vaulted for Coach Barilla, and he's a math teacher and a high school track coach at Desert Vista, and I couldn't be more proud than of our 2 boys, and so thank you. And that's what made ASU for us, because it's where we really found a home. And then finally, I do want to acknowledge Baldy Castile. I believe he was the head coach here for 26 years, and when I came here, Baldy would always come by my office with regularity, and it was always interesting to kind of hear the old war stories and his interpretation of Arizona State athletics, and making me feel welcome, but giving me the understanding that we would get through those sanctions and we would again rise and be a contender for national championships. And then finally, I think the men's track team in particular, with the sprinters and Justin and Turner Washington, they had a great spring, and I look forward to watching Coach Miller reestablish us to the heights that Arizona State track and field really deserve, and we're just excited for this honor, but I'm so excited for the ladies, and I think you can see that they're really sincerely appreciative of that distinction. So forks up, and thank you.
Congrats, Greg. What do you say we hear it one more time for the members of the Sun Devil Athletics Hall of Fame class of 2023? To formally induct our honorees into the Sun Devil Athletics Halls of Fame and Distinction, it's my pleasure to welcome to the podium our good friend, Arizona State Deputy Athletic Director Gene Boyd. Gene?
Thanks, Tim. And kind of a surreal moment as an individual who's been a part of this Sun Devil family, Sun Devil experience for 33 plus years as a former student athlete and just various roles that I held in the department over the years and now Deputy Athletic Director. This is, I think, the first time that we've had a Hall of Fame where I'm personally connected in some way or another with every single person that's involved. The student athletes, certainly from the standpoint of having helped provide services and support for them in those regards. Regina wouldn't know this, and our time didn't overlap. However, I was hired after my student athlete experience as an intern, and one of my first jobs and responsibilities was to, on behalf of Mark Brand, who was our longtime media relations director, go through the list of individuals who were coming up on 10 years from their time period where they finished until that date and start identifying people who were potentially of the caliber Hall of Fame. So to see you in here today, I mean, like I saw the name, I saw the data. I'm like, I think this person qualifies, and it's wonderful to see you here. And thank you so much for sharing from the heart, your spirit, your transparency, unbelievable. Thank you so much. We're all impacted by that. The second year of my internship, one of the responsibilities, I was recruited by Herman Frazier, who many of you all know, to help hire and do some research on who our next track coach would be, because we had these challenges and so forth. And we looked at a lot of names and a lot of bios and all those kind of things. And this coach from South Carolina had a pretty good reputation. And sure enough, he was ready and it was time. And look at what you did, man. Thank you, Coach, for your service, your leadership. In fact, sitting next to him, Coach Bakke, I'm kind of taking over the responsibility of doing this on behalf of Sun Devil Athletics for him last year. So a lot of surreal serendipity here this afternoon, but it is my responsibility formally, if all of the inductees could please stand, everyone who's an inductee for today, our women's track team from 2007, Jordan, Jason, Greg, Regina, SHAUN, Addison, make sure I'm not missing anyone. It is my responsibility, honor, and pleasure to formally induct you into the 2023 Arizona State University Hall of Fame. Congratulations to you all.